Hi, students. So today I'm recording this assuming that throughout the past couple of days you've written your college essays or cover letters, sent them to me, gotten a little bit of pointed feedback on them, and are finished with them, which was your assignment for the past couple of days. Because of that, today's assignment is going to be sort of a self-reflection and peer review, so you can get some feedback, more pointed, exact feedback on your essays or cover letters before revising them and sending me your second and final drafts tomorrow, perfected, polished, ready to be sent to either a college or an employer. So in the description of the video today, it's going to be a little different than previous weeks because there's going to be two different links to two different Google Forms. There's one for if you're writing a cover letter, and there's one for if you're writing a college essay. They may look similar, but they have very different wording and different questions that are being asked because obviously it's two different assignments that you're doing. So select the link to the one that applies to you. If you write the cover letter, select this Google Form link, which will be labeled. And if you wrote the college essay, select this Google Form link, which again will be labeled in the description of the video. So what are we doing today? Like I said, we're self-reflecting and we're getting peer feedback. What do I mean by peer feedback? This can be anything from if you want to send your essay by email over to one of your friends, have them look at it, have them answer the questions on this Google form, send you the answers, and you just copy paste it in the Google form. That'll work fine. If you want, you can have a parent fill out. If you have a parent or guardian at home or a sibling who can read over your cover letter or college essay and fill out the questions here, you can do that. You can, if you don't have anybody at home or don't have any peers that you feel comfortable having read your essay, you can ask me if I can fill out some of the answers to that. I'll send those over to you, and you can either copy paste them into your Google form or you can retype them into your Google form to submit it because the sections are required. So that's the case with that. I know that you're going to email me and ask me the same questions, and so this is answered right now. What do you do if you don't have a peer to look at it? I can look at it, but you find anyone, you send it over, you take a screenshot of it, you take a picture of it, send it to somebody, and have them answer the questions on the sheet for your peer response. Then you're going to do some self-reflection. So you have the peer reflection, then you do your self-reflection. So you'll answer some questions about your essay in your own opinion. So you're going to get two different opinions, your own deeper thinking on your essays and a peer's deeper thinking on your essays. And again, you're taking this feedback that you kind of get from your own self and also from your peers to shape your essay tomorrow when you're working on your second draft, which should kind of be your final polished, ready to go draft. Remember that there's no Zoom meeting tomorrow, and that's pretty much all of the important information that I have about today. For students who learn better when things are read aloud to them, I am going to read aloud what your assignment is for today, the cover letter, and for the college essay. As always, there are timestamps marking when I talk about certain things, so if something isn't relevant to you, you can just click where you need to go to listen to the material that you need. So if you're doing your Thursday, June 4th assignment and you're writing a cover letter, you put your name here and just info, you're going to have your piece of writing looked at critically by yourself and another person. For the peer reflection, send your cover letter to someone online, show it to someone at home, get feedback, and record the feedback below. If you need me to fill out answers because you do not have anyone to look it over, just let me know. Peer reflection. So these are the questions that your peer reader is answering about your essay. This is from an outside perspective because sometimes you need that second perspective or outside perspective. Get yourself out of your own head and see what other people think about your writing and what's going on in your brain. So the peer is answering, what did you learn about this person based on what you read? And how do you think a hiring manager would feel reading this piece? Your peer then answers, what do you think is the writer's strongest or best part of this cover letter? In other words, what makes this applicant seem like the best candidate? Peer reflection, they also answer, if you could choose one skill or experience to have the writer expand on in more detail, which would you choose and why? They also answer, does this applicant seem professional in the language used in the cover letter? Does the applicant thank the hiring manager and show respect for the job? Finally, the peer reflector answers, how is the author's spelling and grammar? This is important. Are there any suggestions that you have to improve the flow or structure of the writing? So these peer reflectors only answer 5 questions. It's not too bad. They can send it to you via email. You can copy paste it in this Google form, or they can dictate it to you, say it, and you can just record it, type it into this Google form. Then this is for yourself to answer, your own self-reflection. After hearing or reading the feedback from your peer reader, what changes do you plan to make to your cover letter? Because they're not going to say it's absolutely 100% perfect. I'm certain of that. And so you are going to make changes. What are those changes going to be based on what you've heard? Do you personally, reading it over, do you make it clear you're interested in this position right from the start? Why or why not? What do you think is a strength of this cover letter and why? So why is your cover letter good or strong? With more time to work on this, what is one thing you still want to change about your cover letter and why? And what was your thought process in choosing these specific skills and experiences to write about? Why are these skills the most important to showcase for this job? So why did you choose to write this? Kind of a little bit of self-reflecting, realizing, okay, yes, these are the skills that are the most important and why. And the last question, what do you think a hiring manager will find out about you from this essay? What do you still wish they could know? I acknowledge the second or final draft of my cover letter will be due tomorrow, revised based on feedback received here, emailed to Ms. Duquette. So you take your own self-reflections, your own deeper thinking that you put into your essay, and you take your peers' reflections and things that they've told you. You even take the feedback that I've sent you over the past couple days, revising your original draft of your cover letter, changing it, adding to it, making it better, strengthening it, and then you'll submit it to me as your final draft. Same thing with the college essay. So we'll go through these questions, and again, you're going to take into consideration all of the feedback you received from your peer. You're going to take into consideration the feedback you received from me in previous days, the self-reflection that you're going to do for yourself, and you're going to make sure that you're submitting to me your final draft of your essay, so making changes to that original draft, improving it. It's not perfect as it is, and so we're going to make some changes on it based on the feedback you received, and email it to me for submission. What are the questions that your peer has to answer? So don't forget to put your name to get credit. You're going to have your piece of writing looked at critically by yourself and another person. For the peer reflection, send your essay to someone online, show it to someone at home to get feedback, record the feedback below. Again, if you need me to fill out the answers because you do not have anyone to look it over, just let me know. Peer reflection, what did you learn about this piece based on what you read, and how do you think an admissions officer would feel reading this piece? So this is for your peer. They're reading the essay and you're getting this outside perspective. It's really helpful to get another idea, perspective of what other people are thinking about your work and your writing. Get outside of your own head and go with that. So, how did they imagine an admissions officer would feel reading the piece? The peer responder then answers the question, what do you think is the writer's strongest or most descriptive about them statement? Why do you like this the best? So what piece of writing was kind of the most impressive to you, and why? The peer reflector then answers, if you could choose one moment or thought to have the writer expand on in more detail, what would you choose and why? So what part maybe is a little bit more sparse, needs a little bit more explanation? The peer reflector answers, were you immediately hooked or interested by the writer's first sentence or paragraph? Why or why not? And finally, how is the author's spelling and grammar? Are there suggestions that you have to improve the flow or professionalism? So this one is important. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of problems with spelling and grammar here. So what do we suggest? Now you're answering questions based on your own essay. So these 5 questions were from somebody else, and you're hearing their feedback and their thoughts on what you wrote. Now you're thinking deeper about what you wrote yourself. After hearing or reading the feedback from your peer reader, what changes do you plan on making to your essay? Do not write nothing. It's not perfect. You are going to be changing it. What do you plan on changing? What do you still want to change? What do you hope to change? Do you think you hook your reader in with your first sentence or paragraph? Why or why not? Reflecting on what your favorite line or part of the essay so far is and why. So what are you passionate about? What would you refuse to cut out no matter what? With more time to work on this, what is one thing you still want to change about this essay? Not influenced by other people, but one thing you personally are still unhappy with? What was your specific thought process in choosing this significant life experience above others? In other words, why did you choose this topic? Why was this topic important? And why would you bother writing about this? Why does it mean something to you? Rediscover the passion. Finally, what do you think admissions counselors will find out about you from this essay? What do you still wish they could know? So, using all of this information to shape what you're going to be doing, you're going to be revising your essay tomorrow based on the feedback that you receive, based on the feedback you've gotten from me, your peer, the deeper reflection that you've put into your own writing. You acknowledge that your second final draft will be due tomorrow. And that is your assignment for today. Make sure you click the correct Google form and fill out the correct Google Forms answers on here if you're writing either the cover letter or the college essay. And that's all I have for you today. So send this over to me when it's completed. Tomorrow we'll do revisions and you'll send that over, and we are officially done with our second to last P week tomorrow. So enjoy your day. Have a good one. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.